Rowdy C Productions roll call! Associate Producer Perkins Persnickety!
Here!
Assistant Camera Operator Garfield Fat Cat!
Present and accounted for!
Key Grip Sam Cat in the Hat!
Ready, able, and willing!
On-air talent second class Robert Wrestling Mark Hayden!
Yo!
Producer Cecil Felicitas! Moi. And now I give you the founder of Rowdy C Productions and the star of TV trash, Rowdy C!
The show is canceled.
Canceled?
Manic Expression got bought up in a hostile takeover by Baker Studios. They want all of the review shows off of the website and are replacing them with live streams on how to make your own bootleg athletic jerseys. I know, this absolutely sucks, guys, but given the fact that we no longer have any other venues to air the show on, I don't see what other option we have. One moment, please. Great, it's gonna be back to the toy bin for us.
You did not just steal a line from Unhappily Ever After!
Good news, everyone! The people behind Baker Studios all mysteriously vanished!
What?
Yep, just disappeared without a trace. The takeover's fallen through, and that means we are back in business! Which means we can get back to reviewing right now!
So, they all just vanished, huh?
Yep, craziest thing!
Where'd Jeannie send them to, the Ukraine?
Best you not be privy to that information. Welcome to TV Trash. One of the toughest things about being a critic is when you have to be critical about something that you truly do like. If you follow TV Trash for a long time now, you may have heard me sing the praises of a show called Futurama, which is basically what happens when Matt Groening is actually allowed to do what he wants without network interference. If this isn't the greatest animated show ever, it's at least the best ever made for older audiences. I have had fans of mine ask me what to do when they are tired of all the negativity going on in the world, and I tell them to marathon watch Futurama. It is that good. On the chance you don't know what I'm talking about, Futurama is about a sad sack delivery boy named Philip J. Fry who fell into cryo-freeze for 1,000 years and woke up in the 31st century to a world of personal spaceships, sarcastic binge-drinking robots, and Cyclops women 1,000 times hotter than a Kardashian could ever hope to be. He lands a delivery job working for his long descendant, Professor Hubert Farnsworth, and now is regularly involved in life-threatening missions across the galaxy. But it's still better than living off the tips they pay on the Lower East Side. The show ran for 5 years on Fox before, of course, getting the axe. But Groening and company refused to let the show die, producing 4 made-for-TV movies that aired on Comedy Central in the hopes that they could lead to the show finding a time slot somewhere else. The movies vary in quality, but unfortunately the last one of them was probably the weakest entry. Let's show you what I mean as we take a look at the Futurama movie Into the Wild Green Yonder. We open up in the Black Dwarf system in deepest space! And then the Violet Dwarf system in slightly deep space. And then we're suddenly in Mars Vegas for this movie's version of the variation each one did on the Futurama title sequence.
Don't expect any changes, my friend, that was then, and this is too.
After that, we immediately see Mars Vegas being demolished by its owner Leo Wong, so that he can build a whole brand new one on the other side of the planet. You know, rather than wait until the new one is finished so he could still make money while he was building it. Proving that Mr. Wong is not only a bigot and the biggest asswipe in the solar system, which we already knew watching the series, he's also a terrible businessman. Of course, here to protest Wong's empire is this group of female hippies.
I'm Frida Waterfall, leader of the Green Eureka Eco-Feminist Collective, and we will not let you mandos this beautiful gyno desert.
Well, I'm Leo Wong, and I say boom!
And I'm guessing any anti-SJWs that watched my show just orgasmed. I wonder if that's gonna play a part in this story.
There's precious life right here in this scum puddle.
The desert muck leech.
But these poor endangered creatures deserve... Oh! Get off me! No, don't kill it. We have to preserve the... And I'm gonna raise it and care for it so the world will forever know what it's lost.
Leela, you're cute and all, but at some point you have to be able to take the hint. So by the time new Mars Vegas opens, Fry seems to have developed telepathic powers thanks to what got embedded in his head, and he can hear everyone's minds.
Oh, it's pretty simple. Just put the mortgage on the credit card.
Voice is always yelling. Who said that?
This is when he discovers the guy who's planning to kill them all, right? Now, dang it, I'm getting my favorite shows crisscrossed again, aren't I? He learns from a hobo who's also a mind reader that he can block them out using tinfoil, and now having control of his new powers, decides to use them to become the superhero of the future! Just kidding, he plans to win a big poker tournament. Though I wouldn't have put it past Fry to eventually try the superhero thing eventually. Meanwhile, Bender ends up having an affair with the wife of a mafia robot, and he isn't even subtle about it, which isn't really a problem, because the robot Don was apparently built by the lowest bidder.
Where am I? I was exploring a wormhole through space many light years from this restaurant when suddenly I was surrounded by darkness.
Nice to see you, Bender. Welcome back to our universe.
They plan to run away together after Bender wins the same big poker tournament that Fry wants to win.
I fold.
Holy crap! A stunning play by mentally ill newcomer Philip Fry. It's almost as if he knew Bender had two aces.
Bender has two aces? I'm out.
Now
I'm out.
Naturally, this tournament comes down to Fry's telepathy versus Bender and the lucky foot of the Don his wife cut off.
No card can save him from elimination.
Oh my gourds! He's dead!
21, winner!
I don't believe it! Bender has just been dealt the King of Beers, a coaster from the bar that somehow got mixed into the deck. But it still counts!
Bender win the championship!
Futurama, the only place where you can combine plot elements that belong on either Passions or WWE and can still make perfect sense.
We'll be at Space Tahiti before the Downbot knows what hit him.
Of course Bender didn't die here. He's Bender! However, the plot begins to die a slow death just after this. That's the first big problem. Outside of establishing the feministas and Fry's telepathic abilities, much of the first 20 minutes were superfluous, feeling like a separate episode that could have been eliminated from the movie altogether. And yet it was still the best part of the movie. The rest of the story really takes a wrong turn into something that looks like a crossover with Captain Planet and Feminist Frequency.
Everybody knows women don't have the focus to play miniature golf at a professional level.
But that's the best shot of the day.
Is that my ball? I think that's my ball. Oh,
Mr. Wong is going to demolish a star system to build the biggest miniature golf course in the universe. Didn't they steal that plot from the final episode of Newhart? There's no legal way of stopping him because Professor Farnsworth is on the take from Mr. Wong to help get environmental clearance, and everyone else doesn't care because, herder, we have penises, we can't think.
I still don't see why you men can't be happy with regular-sized miniature golf.
Leela, evolution has programmed our fabulous male brains to take anything anybody else thinks is important and make it bigger.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the show has used the element of most male characters being dumbasses and Leela being an activist in the past, but more than just about any other time, it comes off here as forced, like one of those girl power episodes of the 80s to try and make Leela sympathetic when that was never really necessary. And when Leela naturally joins the femme environmentalists, they don't come off as worth rooting for either because they really don't have any plans other than yelling. Good night! The SJW comparisons are off the scale! It's amazing that in a cartoon show in the future, that's the one prediction that actually managed to get right! So she has to take charge into getting them to actually sabotage Wong's work, and this, along with their accidental killing of the vice president, turns them into fugitives. Wong demands that the military be sent after the feministas, which of course means...
Zep Brannigan purporting for duty.
Yep, the feministas are gonna win. Well, maybe not, because Brannigan this time has aid in the form of Bender, who's willing to sell out Leela because she's now a threat to commit more felonies than him. Okay, for Bender, that actually makes too much sense. Unfortunately, that's one of the few cases that does make sense, as we are going full-on battle of the sexes now, as Amy Wong and Hermes' wife join the feministas for reasons, and they take the professor and Hermes hostage,
Also Zoidberg,
because they were delivering a fence to the Wongs to try and protect the demolition site.
We call on women everywhere to join our struggle against eco-chauvinist Leo Wong.
Feministas unite!
Seriously, guys, this is one stock plot from the 80s you could have just left dead and buried. While all that's been going on, Fry falls in with a secret society of mind readers, you know, like you do. And this is the one saving grace of the plot now, as he's told he's the key to saving the whole universe. Again. They tell him of the life-giving chi, which is responsible for creating all life in the universe forever, which faded away eons ago, but now appears to be starting back up within the violet dwarf system that Wong is planning to destroy. And don't worry, I'm pretty sure this has nothing to do with the chi from Dragon Ball Evolution. There were apparently two races of organisms called the Dark Ones and the Encyclopods who were in an evolutionary battle with one another. But after the life-giving chi dried up, all but one of the Dark Ones died out and the Encyclopods did die. But they left an egg in the form of the violet dwarf that contains the DNA of all extinct species and will restore those species if the egg is hatched. The mind readers want to help hatch the egg, but destroying the star will stop that, and the Dark One wants to see that happen. Fry may be able to protect the egg from the Dark One because he's a mind reader whose mind can't be read himself since he lacks the Delta brainwave. Yeah, one of the big running gags in the show since season 4 is that Fry lacks a certain brain function due to the fact that he's a temporal inbred. No kidding, he is literally his own grandfather. No, I'm not telling you how it happened. It's much more fun to make you find out yourself. Basically, Fry has to find out who the Dark One is and stop the star from being destroyed, so he gets a job as Wong's security guard to work undercover. He really didn't have much competition. The only other person who applied was this guy named Blark. To sum up the rest of Act 2, Bender bugs Fry's phone to help track down Leela, but Leela doesn't trust Fry since he's now working for Wong, and the feminista leader got killed by someone, so this leads to a space chase, which is another thing the movie actually does pretty well.
We made it through, Kif. How many men did we lose?
All of them.
Yeah, Brannigan's worse than Kirk in this department, but the feministas eventually get caught and thrown in jail despite the Supreme Court ruling in their favor because, get this, the votes of the women on the court only count half. It's like this show was suddenly taken over by Marty Noxon. But guess who shows up to spring them?
Bender?
I put you in so that by busting you out, I could commit 15 felonies at once. Put my rap sheet miles ahead of yours on the all-time chart.
And that is why Bender Bending Rodriguez is every level of awesome. Oh, and it's also now that the professor has a change of heart and joins in on helping them escape. I'm guessing it was after all his checks cleared that he saw the light. As Wong prepares to destroy the star system, giving Fry the honor of hitting the switch, Fry has come to the decision that he has to be the Dark One since he's the only one whose mind can't be read. Now Philip J. Fry is starting to make the most sense. This is getting downright scary. The feministas crash the party, and Leela finally trusts in Fry enough to give him back the plunger so he can push it to try and kill himself. But it's revealed that the Dark One, who was telepathically telling Wong to destroy the system all this time, was actually the Slug! Okay, who didn't see that coming? So none of this would have happened if Leela had taken the hit and crushed that little sycophant in the beginning, and Fry just helped save the universe from being destroyed by events that were essentially Leela's fault. Who's supposed to be the smart one again? Nope, I'm not playing porn music to that. You know I have my standards. The egg hatches to become a manta ray with a biodome attached to it. As long as Pauly Shore is not there, I'm good. The encyclopod destroys the Dark One and then copies the DNA of humans as if to suggest they are endangered. But because he's a douchebag, Brannigan still feels the need to arrest everyone, so the movie ends with the Planet Express crew being pursued and pining that this is the end. But wait, it might not be the end as they head into the Deus Ex of a black hole where they may or may not come out of. They loaded up that last scene with so much symbolism to the show's future, Film Brain would get high cholesterol trying to devour it all. I want to reiterate this. I love Futurama. It remains a shining star in a black hole of cartoons made for adults, and that it actually respects its audience. And this movie isn't horrendous, to be sure. The first act and the climax are actually among some of the show's best work. Unfortunately, it gets bogged down in the middle by plot elements that are excessively preachy and too many characters acting in ways that don't make sense. It did look like the movies gradually declined in quality since the first one, and this was pretty much the bottom for them. But fortunately, it didn't prevent the show from getting revived. Comedy Central did eventually pick the show back up, and it managed to run for another 5 years. Which ultimately I can live with because for an intelligent comedy, it lasted a lot longer than too many more before it and since that got the shaft too early and never did get a second chance. It was good to see that Futurama got a second opportunity and worked with it as best as possible. The second set of 5 seasons might not have been as good as the original, but it was still Futurama to be sure. The sad thing is there have also been cases in the history of TV where people did get other chances and didn't succeed with them. We'll give you one of the more unfortunate examples of that next time on TV Trash.